Learn smart, be wise. Learn with Sudeep Tech Learning. Press the red button to subscribe. Like the video, share the video with friends and family.
Everyone, welcome to SEC Science chapter wise important topic series. We have reached part 8, and if you have not yet watched the previous parts, then I will give you the links in the description box. You can watch from there. And yes, you have watched all the previous part. Let's start with part 8. This part 8 we are going to start new chapter, and that is life processes. Life processes is a very vast chapter, a big chapter, but a very scoring chapter. Many easy parts are there in this chapter. Now, as always, I start any chapter by introducing the name first. You have to understand the name first. I always tell this. So now the first thing, what is the name of the chapter? Life processes. What is life? Life is something, we have life, human beings have life, organisms have life. There are living organisms, there are non-living organisms, we all know that. So all living organisms have something called as life, and that is why they live. We call that they live, and that is what we are going to learn in this chapter, the processes. What is the processes that what are the different processes by which this life works? That is all what we are going to study in this chapter. Now, this chapter is very well given in your NCERT textbook. If you just read the textbook, you will understand. But I'm going to tell you all the most important parts that you all have to know. Now, I'm not going to go in perfect order, which is the NCERT textbook is following. I'm just going to tell you all points which are very important. Now, first thing, that is autotrophs. As I already told, there are two types of life. I told you there is a living life, there is non-living life. We are starting to study about this life. Now in this there are two types of organisms. Organisms which are autotrophs. Now what are autotrophs? The word only itself tells you. Auto means something is getting automatic. So there is automatic preparation of food it is happening. So unlike human beings, what are the organisms that prepare their own food? We know plants. Plants don't require any other thing. They prepare their own food. So such organisms which are there, they are referred as autotrophs. Now just the opposite of that, that is the heterotrophs. Heterotrophs, the best example is human beings. We use complex substances and break them into simpler ones using biocatalyst to obtain energy. Now these are big words, complex substances, biocatalyst, but it's very simple, to understand. This definition is perfect definition that we have to write for exam. But very simply to understand, see, any organism which is using some complex substances, whatever that we are consuming, they are very complex substances. Okay, because it is a mixture of many compounds, many minerals, many things are there inside. So all these things we break them into simpler ones, simpler elements we break them into using something called as a biocatalyst. Bio means what? Something living things, and catalyst, that is going to boost the the working of the thing. Okay, so to obtain something called as energy, we obtain energy. That's how our life works, with energy. So that we get. So all these organisms are referred to as heterotrophs. Very simple to understand. Now next part that is very important is photosynthesis. This photosynthesis we are learning from 6th standard, 7th standard. Every year we are learning photosynthesis, and every year the definition gets tougher and tougher, but the definition remains the same thing. The process of converting carbon dioxide and water into carbohydrates. There are two things, carbon dioxide and water. We convert these things, not we, plants convert these things using the process of photosynthesis. Human beings cannot take this photosynthesis. Why? Because chlorophyll, this chlorophyll is present in plants only. Therefore they have the unique thing of picking their own food, that is called photosynthesis. Now this is what is the definition. You'll have to write all four things that are required for photosynthesis come in this definition. So this is the perfect definition: process of converting carbon dioxide and water into carbohydrates in presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. This is as it is. You'll have to study this. Now next part is, now they have this chlorophyll, they convert this thing to carbon dioxide, and we know that plants release oxygen in return. Now where this exchange of gases will takes place? So for that there is something like stomata. There are tiny pores on the leaves. So on these leaves, the tiny pores, they are called as the stomata. The uses of this are very interesting. The exchange of gases already told, because this should happen. Where it is going to happen? It happens in this stomata. So the first use is that it exchange of gases during the photosynthesis. And the second thing is there is a water loss. Now plant loses its water during evaporation. What is evaporation? The water gets gone up, it turns into vapor. So how does it happen? So how it goes out, that water from the plant, that happens by this stomata with the help of this tiny little pores on it. Moving forward, the next thing that is there in the chapter is about parasites. There is a small part in the textbook talking about parasites, but it is a very important part. Now, parasitic nutrition, the organisms are called parasites, and the type of nutrition is called as the parasitic nutrition. The organisms that get food from plants and animals, they get food from even human beings get food from plants and animals. But in this case of parasite, it's a very special thing that they get food from them without killing them. Okay, they live on them, they totally are dependent on them, but they don't kill them, they take all the nutrition from them. Now the next part is about respiration. There is a big part talking about respiration. Now respiration is the glucose is broken up into water and carbon dioxide. This is the very simplest definition that I can tell you. Now there are types of respiration. Now first thing is aerobic respiration. As it tells aerobic. Aerobic means the presence of oxygen. There is a presence of oxygen. So pyruvate which is there, it breaks down in the presence of oxygen. Now where this pyruvate is coming? This pyruvate is a 3-carbon molecule. There is a 6-carbon molecule called glucose that breaks down and forms this something called as the pyruvate. Okay, now then this pyruvate breaks down in the presence of oxygen. It is called aerobic respiration. The second type is the anaerobic respiration. Anaerobic is just the opposite of aerobic. It is anaerobic, means there is a lack of, not lack of oxygen, there is a complete absence of oxygen. Okay, here there is total oxygen available, here there is complete absence of oxygen. So in this case, what happens to the pyruvate which is there? It breaks down into ethanol and carbon dioxide in absence of oxygen, as is told. Okay, so these products are formed, ethanol and carbon dioxide. Now there is one more case when what happens is there is a lack of oxygen. Okay, there is a less oxygen or lack of oxygen within there. In that case, lactic acid is formed, okay, in muscles. Now there is a perfect example, like we are running, what happens to us? Sometimes suddenly cramps come to us. So this is a perfect example of where lactic acid is built up in our muscles. That is a condition of lack of oxygen. Now next part that we can have is about how this thing get transported, how oxygen which is there, how it get transported in the body. It doesn't get transported directly, but it transported to a respiratory pigment which we call as the hemoglobin. Okay, we know what is hemoglobin, we have studied it. These hemoglobins help to transport oxygen. Okay, so this is a small part which is there, I just told you about it. That is important. The fluid part of the blood is called plasma. Now I'm directly, you must be thinking that I am skipping something, but I'm not skipping something, I am just telling you all the most important topics. So this is the important part, the fluid part of the blood. Now you must have heard about the corona victims which are there. When this corona victims, they get negative, they do this plasma donation. Okay, so this is what it is, the plasma. Whatever the fluid part of the blood which is there, that is called as the plasma. Now next thing, there is a nice figure given in your textbook, in the NCERT textbook, which deals with this, how the path of food takes place. Now I'm just jumping from this topic to this topic direct, I know that, but I'm highlighting the very important part of this chapter. This is the very important part. You have to know the path of the food. Now first thing, you know where we take food from our mouth, then it goes to teeth. Now there is a figure, that figure you have to study because that mostly comes for examination. For that markings you'll have to know where to label what. Okay, so after teeth it mixes with our saliva, whatever. Say example, we are eating an apple. Okay, how that apple we are going to eat? We will take them in the mouth, we will cut into pieces with the teeth, and it will mix up with the saliva. Okay, then from the saliva it will pass through the food pipe, that is the esophagus. Food pipe is called the esophagus. Okay, from that food pipe esophagus it will reach our stomach. Okay, it will reach our stomach, and from stomach it will get digested. Some part will get digested here, and then it will go to small intestine. From small intestine there is many of the part will get digested here, their remaining thing will go into the large intestine, and then whatever extra thing which are remaining, that will get digested here, and finally the remnant part, which is there, it will come out through the anus. Now all these parts which are there, they have something called as many juices and enzymes are present in different parts in the body. Now this food which is there we are taking, for example, we have eaten apple. Now this apple gets mixed up with many juices and this enzyme. The first thing that is present in the saliva here in this part, that is the salivary amylase. This salivary amylase is present in our saliva. So first part, the first juice, the enzyme this is called, that we get is the salivary amylase, that is present in the saliva. Now when we move to the stomach, in stomach that is the gastric gland, it is called. There we have these three things: pepsin, HCl, and mucus. Okay, we will discuss this in detail in next part. Pepsin, there is an important part of this, there is an important role of this, also of these two there is a very important role. Then when we move ahead, there is a bile juice. We reach after stomach and small intestine, there is a liver here from which the secretion comes into the small intestine. The bile juice, it is a secretion of the liver, this you have to remember. Then there are pancreatic juices. Also there is a pancreas here which releases its juices into the small intestine. So what are these juices? The pancreatic juices, the trypsin and lipase. So this all comes from the pancreas. So we'll discuss more about this in the next part. I am stopping here only now for this. As you all know, it is a very big chapter, it cannot be covered in just a single video. So the remaining thing I will cover up in the next part. In the part 9 you will see the remaining things. So until then, if you have liked this video, hit a like here, share it with all your friends, let them also know about these things. And if you have any doubt, always feel free to comment in this video, and I will as soon as possible solve all your doubts. And finally, subscribe to Sudeep Tech Learning for more such videos. The remaining parts you'll have to cover for interesting videos and tech related videos. Until then, we meet in the next one. Learn smart, be wise.